Democrat or Republican or independent should be able to agree on: open the government. Stop this craziness and open the government. It's causing way too many problems, and some of the folks behind me are the people who are dealing with the problems. What we just did was a little roundtable with leaders in the aviation industry. We've got leaders of labor represented. We've got leaders of the businesses that are, of course, making the airline industry run. And I just wanted to hear from people about the stresses of the aviation industry in light of the fact of the shutdown. And here's what I found out. It actually worries me a great deal, because I think that as much as delays have gotten worse over the last couple of weeks, everybody here is very worried that we're going to see more delays, more stresses on the people who are actually making the aviation system run, and more problems for both the consumers but also the great workers who actually make this incredible shining jewel of the American economy actually work and work on time and work safely. Here are the things that I worry about. I worry about the people who are scanning our bags and making us get through the security line. I worry they're not getting paychecks. They're starting to get worried about how to feed their families and how to pay school tuition and everything else. I worry about the pilots who haven't gotten paid in a long time. I worry about the air traffic controllers who, of course, make this entire system extra safe. I worry about them, more worried about their credit card bill than they should be, because they're not getting a paycheck because Democrats refuse to open the government. Now, I understand that a lot of Americans are sick of partisanship in Washington, D.C. Trust me, I've been here for 9 months in this job. I am sick of partisanship in Washington, D.C. But this is very, very simple. Every partisan dispute, every policy disagreement, all of these things we can talk about, we can reason through, we can disagree, we can shake hands and compromise on some of those issues, hopefully. But this is something that every single American, Democrat or Republican or independent, should be able to agree on: open the government. Stop this craziness and open the government. It's causing way too many problems, and some of the folks behind me are the people who are dealing with the problems. Now, let's just recap exactly what's happened politically in this town related to the government shutdown. We have had now multiple votes to reopen the United States government. The House of Representatives has voted affirmatively to reopen the United States government. 52 Republicans and 3 Democrats consistently vote to reopen the United States government, but we need 60 votes. So all we need to end the craziness, to pay the air traffic controllers, to pay the TSA agents, to pay the pilots, to make sure that food stamp benefits continue to go out to the American people who need them, all we need is 5 reasonable Democrats to join 3 moderate Democrats and 52 Republicans to reopen the government.
Now, this week we saw billionaire climate change alarmist Bill Gates do a massive U-turn. Yes, he no longer believes climate change is catastrophic and is urging folks to walk away from global warming doomsday predictions. And it seems he is not alone. Let's check in with CNN polling expert Harry Enton, who explains that most Americans never bought the climate scaremongering.
About climate change now for decades upon decades upon decades. And the worry in terms of climate change, simply put, hasn't shifted. It has not reached the majority of Americans. The bottom line is that the climate change message that folks who, of course, believe that climate change is real and is quite worrisome, simply put, has not really worked with the American people.
Yep, the majority never bought the hysteria, and the stats are even worse for the global warming alarmists when you drill down into those figures. Drill, baby, drill.
Is it the biggest thing they're worried about?
Yeah, it is not anywhere close to being the biggest thing that people are worried about. What are we talking about here? Well, why don't we just talk about top issue facing the U.S., climate change? Well, I got some numbers for you on the screen right here. You don't have to be a mathematical genius to know that these numbers are not particularly high. Top issue facing the United States, climate change. It was 3% in 2021, 2% in average of polls in 2023, and this year the average of polls 2. It is very, very low on the list of priorities. I was trying to count it out in the Gallup poll, and basically it was so low down, you know, I was counting all the different issues, almost lost track. It was like 15th or 20th. It was just very, very low down. So the bottom line is not only are we seeing that the number has not really moved over the last 36 years, but in terms of being the top issue, it simply put has not broken through.
Oh dear, that must really be devastating for the Al Gore grifters, all those renewable rent seekers. Let's look at one more data point that really explains who sees climate change as a top tier issue.
In terms of how people feel it will impact them directly. What are you saying?
Yeah, I'll just note two things. Number one, your Harvard education paying off. But number two, right here, look at this. Climate change effect on my home area will be harder to stay here. Look, in 2023, it was 23%. Look at where we are now, 17%. Now, you know, these numbers are pretty comparable, but they're pretty comparable on the low side is what we're talking about here, is Americans simply put just don't think we'll have the type of impact that will really change their lives, which again goes back to the message that Bill Gates was saying, right? This is not something that's going to be devastating for humanity. It's something we can work our way out of. A lot of Americans agree, and even on this, we're talking about just 27% of Democrats who believe that climate change effect in my home area will be harder to stay here. So even on the left wing, where you'd expect the climate change message to hit most home, it simply put is not reaching that type of level in terms of the doomsday scenario that Bill Gates is talking
Interesting.
about.
Joining me now is political advisor and commentator CJ Pearson. CJ, even among Democrats, only 1 in 4 thinks climate change is going to have a profound effect on their lives and where they live. No wonder Bill Gates has done a big U-turn on this issue.
You know, a huge pivot. Well, Rita, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me. You know, I got to look at these issues and I say that even Democrats are having a shock to reality when they realize the effects of the disastrous Schumer shutdown. Things that are affecting things like EBT benefits, things that are affecting like things, you know, like our military pay, the ability for our servicemen and women to actually be able to afford their groceries and pay their rent. Those are the results of the consequences of democratic governance in this country. And so, yeah, you're right. Climate is not the biggest deal to many of these people because they're forced to confront real issues, real problems that are put on their plate by a Democratic Party that does not give a damn about them. And so, yes, climate change may be a pie in the sky issue, a existential threat to the Greta Thunbergs of the world, but to everyday Americans and everyday people all across the world, it's small pickings.